This is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Macy Marie, and thanks for joining us tonight. We begin this evening in a severe weather alert day, and that's due to the possibility of flooding in the region. WYNT's Chief Meteorologist Paige Noel joins us now, and she has those details. Paige?
Yeah, Macy, we are still under that flash flood watch. That was issued actually early Friday morning, and that goes until early Monday morning, late Sunday night. Here's a look at it. You can see really all the counties in green. Almost all of our eastern Kentucky counties, our Virginia, West Virginia, and even Tennessee counties aren't in that, but doesn't mean you guys won't see some flash flooding issues because most of you already have. As we look at pinpoint Doppler, you'll notice a few showers here and there. I don't think all of that is actually touching the ground. We'll see those showers become more scattered as we head into the overnight hours with more rounds of rain Sunday and even into Monday as well. But they've been slowly moving through the mountains throughout the day. You'll notice over into parts of farther eastern Tennessee and Virginia. They've been dealing with that rain for quite some time. Definitely some flash flood issues over there. But those temperatures into the upper 60s to lower 70s overall, not too bad out there. It's those dew points that are making it feel very, very muggy outside. Those upper 60s to lower 70s once again. That's just been feeling very gross outside. That continues as we head, of course, as we head into your Sunday. But really that flash flood watch does continue once again. We do have a cold front moving in on Monday. Could bring more rain and even more flash flooding into the mountains. Sunshine does return, but it is going to be just a little bit. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up in just a few short minutes. Macy.
All right, thank you, Paige. President Trump praising his deal with Mexico that promises a crackdown on illegal immigration. The president now suspending his plan to impose tariffs on Mexican goods. There were growing fears those tariffs could raise prices for American consumers. Weijia Jiang is at the White House.
President Trump is back at the White House after spending the week in Europe. This morning, he tweeted everyone very excited about the new deal with Mexico, a deal he first announced on Twitter last night, adding the tariffs scheduled to be implemented by the U.S. on Monday against Mexico are hereby indefinitely suspended. The 5% fee would have driven up the cost on all Mexican imports, from cars to electronics to fruits and vegetables. To avoid the tariffs, Mexico has agreed to beef up measures to reduce the number of Central American migrants crossing into the U.S.
Both countries recognized the vital importance of rapidly resolving the humanitarian emergency and security situation.
Mexico will deploy its National Guard throughout the country, focusing on its southern border, where 6,000 troops will be placed, according to Mr. Trump. Officials will also crack down on criminal smugglers and expand the Remain in Mexico policy. Migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. will wait in Mexico while their cases are resolved. The president also tweeted Mexico has agreed to immediately begin buying large quantities of agricultural product from our great patriot farmers. Initially, the White House insisted the threat of tariffs was in response to an immigration issue, not trade.
The president is a brilliant negotiator, and he came out on top this time.
Republican Senator Joni Ernst said farmers in her state of Iowa will benefit from the deal.
Mexico is the #1 purchaser of Iowa's exported corn. So we do see this as a great step forward, and we are breathing a sigh of relief that we will not see these tariffs.
Many congressional Republicans are relieved. They had urged President Trump to abandon the tariffs for weeks, concerned they could cripple the economy or jeopardize a new trade agreement with Canada and Mexico to replace NAFTA. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, the White House.
In Ohio, a woman accused of killing her newborn baby 26 years ago was booked into jail. Gail Eastwood Ritchie is charged with 1 count aggravated murder and 1 count of murder for killing her newborn son. The crime happened 23 years ago. The baby's tiny body discovered on a back road wrapped in a trash bag. Iowa's going to feel a bit more crowded this weekend, and that's because it's being flooded with Democratic presidential hopefuls, 19 of them to be exact. They're there to spend Saturday campaigning directly to voters before congregating Sunday at the Iowa Democratic Party Annual Hall of Fame dinner in Cedar Rapids. There, they will each have a few minutes to talk in front of the state's most dedicated Democrats Iowa's caucus is still more than 7 months away, but the first round of debates comes in just a few weeks. 10 people were taken to the hospital after a train derailed in Boston. It happened in a tunnel near Kenmore Station, which is close to Fenway Park. The train is operated by Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority and is part of the city's rapid transit system. Some of the victims had to be carried out in stretchers. None of them sustained injuries that are considered life-threatening. Following the Virginia Beach shooting, this morning a memorial walk happened to honor the victims and their families. Participants gathered at Mount Trashmore Park in Virginia Beach. The event was free, but they collected donations for families of those victims.
This is an incredible day for the city to come together. It's amazing with this kind of weather that people would be waiting in line an hour before it started to support the families that were injured in this tragedy. There have been hundreds of people here this morning, children, strollers, all coming together with one purpose, to show their support for the families.
A prayer was also held for those impacted by the May 31st shooting. A hiker missing for 6 days in the Arkansas wilderness has been reunited with his family. The man was found in a remote area about 100 miles from Little Rock, Arkansas. Kenneth Craig has details of that dramatic rescue.
The desperate 6-day-long search for Joshua McClatchy came to an end Friday night when he was found alive after getting lost in a remote area of Arkansas. The Fort Worth, Texas man set out along the remote and rugged mountain area situated about 130 miles west of Little Rock more than a week ago. He posted these photos on Instagram and a selfie saying he was safe and sound. But at some point, McClatchy says he got disoriented and lost. And on June 1st, he sent his mother a text message asking for help.
We received a call from his mother that he had texted her from the Buckeye Trail that he was in trouble, he was lost, and he was dehydrated. We started the search immediately.
Polk County Sheriff Scott Sawyer says that search included dogs and drones. The team finally spotted McClatchy from the air late Friday.
I got a visual. I'm moving to it. Did you advise you have him? You have him. Good work, guys.
A National Guard helicopter with infrared technology was instrumental in helping with the search. We are told McClatchy is dehydrated but in good spirits. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
Salvadoran authorities have found the body of an American who was killed in a surfing accident on Thursday morning off the coast of Playa Mesada in El Salvador. The American, identified as 35-year-old Matthew Reed of Torrance, California, was warned beforehand not to surf in an area of the beach which had large rocks and some caves. Today marked the end of an era for LG&E as they demolished the remainder of a coal-fired generating station in South Jefferson County. The plant initially closed in June 2015 after a 61-year run. Officials say the plant served as a reliable cornerstone in the Louisville community for decades. The demolition took months of preparation, which included finding a contractor, monitoring weather conditions, and obtaining necessary permits for the type of work. Kentucky's hemp industry is booming, but what you may not realize is its history is deeply rooted here. Chelsea Jones takes us to a festival celebrating hemp.
And I'll be working the basketball hoop for me.
Hundreds gathered in downtown Cynthiana for a festival celebrating hemp, a plant that still raises a lot of questions.
The hemp industry is starting to grow back again, so we're really excited.
Hemp has a long history here in Kentucky. At one point, the state was the largest producer of the crop in the nation.
Originally, I think in 1775, hemp was planted in Danville, and it grew for many years. It was very successful.
That came to an end with the marijuana tax of 1937. The law prohibited all cannabis plants, including hemp, but the passage of a farm bill in 2018 opened the door for a hemp industry.
Hemp is kind of another tool in a toolbox to help the farmers keep their family farms going.
Brian Furnish, a farmer, says he's made the most money growing hemp, but still faces challenges.
People thought I was growing marijuana, I was going to get you high, and I had to educate people.
It's the similarity to marijuana that has so many people confused about hemp. Can it make you high? Can you become addicted? John McDaniel, a pharmacist, says no.
Once you find a dose that works for you, you stay at that dose.
McDaniel co-owns 15 pharmacies, all of which sell the hemp product CBD oil.
Pain and inflammation is the #1 reason why people seek us out.
He and other hemp supporters hope education can reduce the stigma and pave the way for a thriving hemp economy.
The hemp plant can be used for fiber, CBD, food, paper.
In Cynthiana, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
Kentucky Hemp Days in Cynthiana is part of Hemp History Week. It's the largest educational campaign about hemp in the United States. Here in Hazard, Remote Area Medical Clinic, also known as RAM, set up shop for the weekend. It's the second year for the event being in Perry County. At 6 this morning, they opened the doors to help provide hundreds of people with medical, vision, and dental services at zero cost and with no questions asked.
The RAM program, it's good for the community, the people that get served. The community, when they come together to put on one of these clinics, has to come together and raise money and work together, so it's a benefit for them. And then it's a good benefit for the students too, because they get an experience. They learn to give as well as get.
If you would like to stop by, the RAM Clinic will be back open tomorrow morning at 6 and it will last until about 2 in the afternoon. Hundreds of athletes hit the track for the 3rd annual Trinity Gay Memorial Classic this morning. The event honors Lexington track star Trinity Gay, who was killed in 2016 when a fight broke out in the Cookout restaurant parking lot. These athletes are hoping for one thing, that's to make it to nationals, but that's not a cheap trip for them. That's part of the reason the Lexington Blazing Cats Track Club created the Trinity Gay Memorial Classic, and they're also honoring Gay's memory.
This is hard. This is extremely hard because I'm used to seeing my child out here running. So this is hard to just watch everybody else's kids.
Trinity's mom, Shoshana Boyd, says this year was not as packed as years in the past because of that rain, but turnout was still strong. One special and very lucky little boy in Magoffin County celebrated his 2nd birthday today. You probably remember last month Kenneth Howard went missing, and more than 65 hours later, search crews found him on a 50-foot steep incline less than 2,000 feet away from his home. His birthday is not until the 19th of this month, but his family decided to celebrate a little early at the Jungle Gyms Inflatables over in Floyd County. Around 200 people in Martin County braved the rainy weather this morning for a countywide cleanup. Volunteers picked up more than 200 bags of trash. After that effort, Shaping Our Appalachian Region, also known as SOAR, made one big announcement: a sponsored donation of $10,000 for a new initiative to better the area. SOAR's executive director, Jared Arnett, says he's excited to see the organization thrive.
Unity amongst the people can solve a lot of problems. There are plenty of communities that have great water that don't flourish.
During the announcement, there were free hot dogs, chips, and desserts served along with musical entertainment from local talent. For more info on how to join Martin County in Action, you can head over to our website, WIMT.com. And still to come on Mountain News Weekend Edition. An animal sighting in Pittsburgh had neighbors shook up. We'll show you what crawled through their streets coming up next.
And that flooding threat continues as more rain is expected. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up.